Good morning, everyone. You are now on KleverStock Live with me, Ainun Jaria, running through all the morning bell updates. Kicking it off with the stock market update. The FPM KLCI extended its rally on Wednesday, mirroring yet another record-setting session on Wall Street overnight, as a downward revision to U.S. jobs figures cemented expectations that the Federal Reserve will take a more dovish stance in September. At the open, the benchmark index edged up to 1.23 points to 1,588.04, buoyed by improved sentiments in equities. The spillover from the U.S. rally put the Malaysian market on track for a third straight day of gains, with some analysts predicting that the FPM KLCI could soon test the 1,600 psychological level. Rakuten Trade observed that the market managed to close in positive territory despite share price adjustments in Maxis and MISC for the ex-dividend, reflecting a firm undertone. He said, hence, we believe the benchmark index will be retest the 1,600 level anytime soon. For today, we expect the index to hover between the 1,585 to 1,600 range. On the other hand, TA Securities cautioned that the local market is likely to remain in consolidation mode, with a downside bias as investors await the key U.S. inflation data this week that could influence the Fed's rate outlook. He said the cautious sentiment was already evident in the slight gain seen yesterday amid a data-heavy week and a lack of fresh domestic catalyst. Among key movers on the FPM KLCI, Tenaga Nasional rose 6 cents to 13 ringgit and 16 cents. Petronas Gas gained 6 cents to 18 ringgit and 66 cents, and QA Resources added 5 cents to 4 ringgit and 27 cents. Top actives included Clasita, which advanced 1.5 cent to 10 cent, NextG up half a cent to 49 cent, and Pharmaniaga higher by half a cent to 22 cents. Moving on with updates on our local currency. The ringgit opened higher against the US dollar on Wednesday, extending its gains as weaker US jobs data heightened expectations of interest rate cuts. At 8 a.m., the local currency stood at 4.2005 or 4.2170 against the greenback, firmer than Tuesday's close of 4.2025 or 4.2080. The Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad Chief Economist Dr. Muhammad Afzanizam Abdul Rashid said a preliminary revision by the U.S. Labor Department of benchmark payrolls between April 2024 and March 2025 showed job creation had been overestimated, with 911,000 fewer jobs added during the period. The figure reinforces market conviction that the labor market is weak and the Federal Reserve will need to resume its rate cut cycle next week. Still, he noted that investors would be keeping a close eye on the release of the U.S. Producer Price Index PPI later today for sentiment cues. Consensus estimates point to headline PPI holding steady at 3.3% in August, while core PPI is expected to ease from 3.7% to 3.5%. At home, Muhammad Afzanizam said the ringgit is likely to maintain its appreciating bias, hovering around 4.20 to 4.22 per dollar. The ringgit was stronger against most major currencies in early trade. It rose to 2.8497 or 2.8611 versus the yen, strengthened to 5.6791 or 5.7016 against the pound, and appreciated to 4.9154 or 4.9347 against the euro. Against ASEAN currencies, the ringgit also traded mostly firmer. It advanced to 3.2735 or 3.2866 versus the Singapore dollar, from 3.2824 or 3.2870. It was little changed at 254.8 or 255.9 against the rupiah and steady at 7.37 or 7.40 against the peso. Continuing with economic news, Malaysia is looking to expand its railway connectivity beyond national borders in a bid to strengthen its position on the global transport map. Now, Deputy Transport Minister Dato' Hasbi Habibullah, speaking on the sidelines of the 45th ASEAN Railway CEOs Conference, RCOs on Tuesday, said cross-border projects such as the Johor Bahru Singapore Rapid Transit System (RTS) link could be the spark for larger ASEAN rail ambitions. He said we can look at connectivity from Singapore to Kuching and from Sabah to the Philippines. Hasbi said, noting that advancements in engineering and mega infrastructure now make once unrealistic options, such as the undersea tunnels or bridges, possible. Hasbi stressed that world-class rail infrastructure is crucial to strengthening economic resilience, reducing supply chain risk, and amplifying ASEAN's influence on the world stage. For Malaysia, the push is closely tied to the 13th Malaysia Plan 13MP, which focuses on improving living standards, restructuring the economy, and building long-term resilience. He said the railway sector must be the catalyst for continuous regional development. Among the most ambitious proposals under study is the Trans-Borneo Railway, designed to connect Sabah with Kuching at Borneo's southern tip. Talks are already underway with Brunei and Indonesia to explore extending the line into Brunei and Kalimantan, with the ultimate goal of creating a network that circles the entire island. He said our aspiration in this feasibility study is to make sure that we can connect it to Indonesia. That would mean another border connection with an ASEAN neighbour. We can even look at circling the island of Borneo. We are on the island, we must do something about it. Our Transport Minister Anthony Loke Siu Fook announced last month that the 7 million ringgit feasibility study launched in June 2025 under the 12th MP is processing on schedule and could be completed by the third quarter of 2026. The study will assess technical requirements, operational and commercial models, socio-economic benefits, governance structures and overall viability. If implemented, the Trans-Borneo Railway, with an estimated cost of 63.6 billion ringgit, would be one of Southeast Asia's largest cross-border transport infrastructure projects. Now, planned initiatives linked to this vision include improving financial sustainability for public transport operators, encouraging transit-oriented developments, upgrading in infrastructure, and reforming rail governance. Hasbi also pointed to mounting challenges facing ASEAN, from global economic shifts to technological disruptions, demographic changes, and environmental pressures, and said these will require close collaboration between governments and industries to unlock investment and bring transformative projects like the Trans-ASEAN Rail Link to life. And moving on to corporate news update, Malaysia Airlines is stepping up efforts to draw more international arrivals by forging strategic partnerships with state tourism boards like Penang, Sarawak and Langkawi, Kedah. Malaysia Aviation Group's Chief Commercial Officer Darsanish Arasandiran said the move creates new opportunities to expand tourism, empower local communities and deliver world-class enhanced by digital innovation. He said, as we prepare to welcome the world to visit Malaysia 2026, our mission is clear: to showcase Malaysia as a must-visit destination and ensure every journey with us is seamless, memorable and proudly Malaysian. The three partners are Penang Global Tourism, Sarawak Tourism Board and the Langkawi Development Authority, LADA. Now, these collaborations build on Malaysia Airlines' Time for campaign and its bonus side trip BSC program, which allows international travelers to extend their journeys beyond Malaysia's gateway cities. Now, Malaysia Airlines and LADA are expected to formalize a 2-year memorandum of understanding in the fourth quarter to reinforce Langkawi's position as one of Malaysia's most iconic destinations. The partnership will highlight Langkawi's UNESCO Global Geopark status, supporting sustainable growth and boosting its international profile as a jewel of Kedah. In Sarawak, Malaysia Airlines will expand its BSC program to include Kuching, which in Penang, its collaboration with Penang Global Tourism will promote the state as a premier gateway and stopover destination. Now, Malaysia Aviation Group said these initiatives form part of a broader nation-building agenda, positioning tourism as a key driver of economic growth, cultural celebration and national pride. And finally, wrapping up with more corporate developments and deals across Malaysia. CIMB Group Holdings Berhad announced that its Group Chief Executive Officer Novan Amiruddin will assume the role of acting CEO of Growth Markets in CIMB Singapore following resignation of Victor Lee Meng Tek. Now, Perak Transit Berhad plans to launch its smart bus stop projects in Ipoh in the fourth quarter 2025 as part of efforts to build new recurring revenue streams. Binapuri Holdings Berhad has signed an MOU with South Korean household appliance manufacturing Hanil Electronic Co. Ltd. to develop Hanil's upcoming 220 million ringgit manufacturing park in Sarawak. Skyworld Development Berhad has signed a contract to buy land in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam for 136 million ringgit for the development of a commercial apartment complex. And last but not least, Cita Global Berhad will independently develop an industrial park project in Pahang after exercising an option to acquire the land from its joint venture partner for 90 million ringgit to be settled in cash and irredeemable convertible preference share. Now that's a wrap for Moneybell Updates with me, Ainujaria from KleverStock. Thank you for choosing us investors. Stay tuned for the next live coming soon.